Yeah, g'day all you freedom lovers and all you hunters out there. Aussie Shooter here again, and today I want to make a video regarding something that I probably should have made a long time ago actually, and that is becoming a member of the NRA. Now, a friend of mine, Jason Selms, also on the internet, has made a few videos regarding the NRA. Now, myself and Jason are both members of the NRA and have been for quite some time, and I'd like to show you this month's magazine from the NRA, which is their main magazine, where they show you how they fight for your political rights and for all your gun rights and public land access rights and so on. And it's called America's First Freedom, and you probably have seen it before, but here it is. There you go, have a look at that. Really good magazine. Now, this just shows you one of the ways the NRA really do a good job in fighting all the politicians that want to take away your rights. Now, the NRA have no problems in sticking the middle finger up to politicians, and also, like, as you can see with this front cover, it says, announcing NRA banned guns raffle, your chance to win guns that Obama, Biden, Feinstein and Bloomberg want to ban. So what the NRA are doing, basically, there you go, right there, there you go, you see on the back cover, have a look at these fine firearms right there. Brilliant. What they're basically doing is they're saying, yeah, well, you government, you want to ban these guns? Well, guess what? We're going to give them away. So, really good stuff, you know what I mean? They've got absolutely no problem telling the politicians where to stick it. There's very powerful articles in this magazine. Now, Wayne LaPierre has written an article here, A Treacherous Assault on Our Freedoms. There you go, right there, as you can see that. As you can see, you got the Second Amendment, the Constitution with a United Nation foot on the Constitution. That's Wayne LaPierre's article. And basically stating what the United Nations want to do to the rest of the world regarding firearms. They basically want a global disarmament in terms of your own personal firearms. Now, if you have a look at this story here, right in the middle of the page, there you go. The UN, have a look at that. It's pretty powerful stuff, really powerful stuff. And it says the United Nations shows its true colours and reveals the battle plan for its war on our Second Amendment freedoms. Right? So now, why is this important to Australians? Well, it's extremely important because I think we all realise that this is not just an Australian battle. It's not a battle, you know, it's not a Canadian or New Zealand or American battle. It is a global battle for our freedoms and for our firearm rights. And the United Nations are trying to install global rules that the rest of the world has to follow, basically destroying your country's sovereignty on its ability to decide what sort of firearm policies are right for them. And sadly, Australia was one of the first countries to sign up to these small arms deals, and then Obama also done it too. So it hasn't been ratified yet, but I certainly hope it doesn't. But it's heading that way, and one of the organisations that is best positioned to fight this is the NRA. Now, the NRA have 5 million members in America, and throughout the world as well, and each and every one of you guys can become a member. It is only $35 per year, and you get a choice of these fantastic magazines that you can receive. They will also give you weekly email updates, letting you know what's going on around the world, what's going on in the United States in terms of freedom and your rights. So that's what's great about it. The NRA really are on the front foot. They are really one of the best positioned, the premier organisation in the world that are prepared to fight for freedom. So that's what's good about it. And also, it's quite scary, some of the stuff that I've read this article in full, and some of the stuff that's in here is quite scary. And unfortunately, I hate to admit it, but a lot of the things that are written here are pretty much carbon copy of Australian gun laws. And the sad thing is that these things were written before the Australian gun laws were in place. So it just goes to show how long they've been planning this. And you know, and it says here, bureaucrats within the United Nations have admitted what the National Rifle Association predicted, what the gun ban lobby tried to conceal, and what anyone paying attention has understood all along, that there are increasingly influential forces within the UN that want to ban your guns, reduce the ranks of gun owners, eliminate freedoms guaranteed by the Second Amendment to the US Constitution, interfere with US domestic policy even if it means violating our national sovereignty to achieve these goals. And that's quite true, because Australia's national sovereignty, well, I mean, really, can we say that we actually have any sovereignty left? I mean, really, we don't. The Labor Party and Liberal parties in the last decade have done a really, really good job of installing all sorts of policy that are just completely against our national interest, and they pander to the organisations like the United Nations constantly. And obviously the United Nations are trying to set themselves up to be the prime body, I guess, of a world government. And that's what's been in the planning for the last several decades. And they do it by trying to get everyone to sign up to all these world treaties and basically making them law. And I certainly hope Tony Abbott doesn't sign up to any more of these stupid UN treaties. And I'm really disappointed that that recently Julie Bishop went over as our foreign minister and signed on to the Small Arms Treaty. That is a real disappointment, and all we can do is hopefully there won't be any more of these sort of things. But anyway, this magazine is a fantastic magazine. It teaches you about freedoms, it teaches you what the NRA does, and it shows you how they are fighting the war against our freedom, and not just in America but all around the world as well. Now, I'll tell you guys something about the United Nations that you may not have known. Back in 2010, the United Nations voted for countries retaining the right to kill people based on their sexual orientation. Yeah, that's right, you heard it right, I'm not kidding. You can look this up on Google. There was a bill passed, 79 votes to 70, for the countries to retain the right to put you to death if you are gay, bisexual, transsexual, and yeah, that's right, they passed this vote. So it sort of gives you a picture of what sort of organisation the United Nations is. It's generally made up of largely undemocratic dictatorships, extreme dictatorships, that pretty much outnumber all the free countries out there. So whenever we sign any kind of resolution by the UN, believe me, it is not in our best interest, and it's quite shameful that Australia, United States and any other country would sign on to any of these resolutions and allow this organisation, which is basically populated by dictatorships, to tell us what to do. And that's basically United Nations in a nutshell. And sadly, I hate to admit it, but our countries too, our Western nations, I feel, are quite envious of some of the powers that these barbaric countries, these tyrannical dictatorships have over their people, and they actually want some of that power. And I think they are using these countries to try and pass all this tyrannical legislation, this anti-freedom legislation that's currently in the United Nations. And that's why it's important that the NRA are on the front foot to fight these anti-freedom regulations. Also in the magazine, you've got this section here which is called The Armed Citizen. Now this here is a good collection of stories regarding self-defense, something I'm very passionate about as well. And it just basically shows you how people have successfully defended themselves and saved their lives, basically using firearms. And a really good collection of stories. So they really know how to put freedom on the front foot. They really know how to show people why you have a right to your freedom. It is not a privilege. It is not something that the government can give and take away. It is a right. Now, a lot of people would argue out there that you simply don't have a right to have these type of firearms, and you simply don't have a right for this and right for that, and that's just complete and utter nonsense. These people obviously don't understand freedom. Now, the Second Amendment was purely drafted on the basis that the Founding Fathers recognized that the people must have a political right not only to disagree with the government, but to fight the government if, in fact, one day it became a tyrannical government, which has happened many times throughout history. And to say it'll never happen again, well, I just think that's foolish. And as you can see, every day more and more laws are being put into place all around the world that are anti-freedom laws. And how we're going to be defeated by this is like a death by 1,000 cuts. And what they'll do is every generation that goes by, they install more anti-freedom laws until one day my great-grandkids or your great-grandchildren will grow up and they won't know freedom. They won't know what it is. They'll be living in a controlled state, a nanny state, where the government make all the decisions for them, and they really have not much freedom at all. So that's what the United Nations are working towards, and it's up to people like myself and yourself to show people that that's what's really going on. So anyway, one way to do it, guys, is to become members of the NRA. You're going to be financially supporting the organization that is going to be constantly fighting for your gun rights globally and also in the United States. It's extremely important that we support Americans to make sure they maintain their freedoms, because if America falls, sadly, I'd have to say that there's not much hope for the rest of the free world, the Western nations. So we've got to make sure that globally we come together and we help the NRA defeat anyone who wishes to install tyranny into the United States. That's including the UN. So anyway, guys, really good magazine, America's First Freedom. Excellent articles. Really opens up your mind to all the things that are going on. You're going to be supporting one of the best organizations in the world that you can support in terms of fighting for your freedoms. You get a great mag. You get emails every week letting you know what's going on. It's well worth it. It's only $35 a year. And so get onto NRA.com, and it's a simple sign-up process. Just get on there, put your credit card in, and you're done. So anyway, guys, Aussie Shooter signing out, and I'll catch you all later. Always fight for your rights and freedoms. Never, ever give up, and I'll see you later.